Hello, welcome to the October meeting. Hi everyone, we'll wait until 6 p.m. to get started, but just hold tight.
Recording in progress.
Okay, let's get started now. Here, let me share my screen. Okay, perfect. So welcome to our October meeting. Hopefully everyone can hear me. Can somebody give me a thumbs up if you can hear me? Okay, thanks. Okay. So this is our agenda. It's the same as always. We have the awards introduction again, our read out loud, our discussion, and then the community service discussion. Okay, so congratulations to Caden Chan. He was our student of the month for last year. Thank you for participating and talking during the discussion. So again, we'll be featuring one of you every month, so please participate if you want to be acknowledged. These are awards, dedication, writing, and most improved. We're going to be giving these out at the end of our sessions, like probably towards the end of the spring semester, so just hold tight for those. So this is our read out loud today. It's The Monsters Are Due on Maple Street, and we're just going to be reading Act 1 on our PDF. So I hope everyone got it from the email, but if not, we can just go on. I'll just show it on my screen. But these are the roles. Let me see how many people we have. We have 11 people, 12 including me, and a lot more roles. So I'm just gonna be the narrator, voice one, voice two, voice three, voice four, voice five, and man one. But does anybody want to be Steve? Okay, we'll have Michelle be Steve. Um, and then who wants to be Dawn? Okay, we'll have Sophie be Dawn. What about Mira? Well, this is gonna take a bit of a long time, so I'll just like call out names. So just forget what we did. Hank, could you be Steve? Brian, can you be Dawn? Mira, can you be Sophie? Eugene, can you be woman? Let's see.
엄마 안경 찾아줘.
Mia, can you be Pete? Olivia, can you be Charlie? Sammy, can you be Sally? Hannah, can you be Tommy? And let's see. Elaine, can you be Les? Okay, so we'll get started with reading. Fade in on a shot of the night sky. The various heavenly bodies stand out in sharp, sparkling relief. The camera moves slowly across the horizons until it passes the horizon and stops on a sign that reads Maple Street. It is daytime. Then we see the street below. It is a quiet, tree-lined, small-town American street. The houses have front porches on which people sit and swing on gliders, talking across from house to house. Steve Brand is polishing his car, which is parked in front of his house. His neighbor, Don Martin, leans against the fender watching him. An ice cream vendor riding a bicycle is just in the process of stopping to sell some ice cream to a couple of kids. Two women gossip on the front lawn. Another man is watering his lawn with a garden hose. As we see these various activities, we hear the narrator's voice. Maple Street, USA, late summer. A tree-lined little world of front porch gliders, hopscotch, the laughter of children, and the bell of an ice cream vendor. There is a pause, and the camera moves over to a shot of the ice cream vendor and two little boys who are standing alongside just buying ice cream. At the sound of the roar and the flash of the light, it will be precisely 6:43 p.m. on Maple Street. At this point, Tommy, one of the two boys buying ice cream from the vendor, looks up to listen to a tremendous screeching roar from overhead. A flash of light plays on the faces of both boys and then moves down the street and disappears. Various people leave their porches or stop what they are doing to stare up at the sky. Steve Brand, the man who has been polishing his car, stands there transfixed, staring upwards. He looks at Don Martin, his neighbor from across the street. Okay, who
What
was
was
Steve?
that? A meteor?
That's what it looked like. I didn't hear any crash though, did you?
Nope. I didn't hear anything except for a roar.
Did we have a Mira? If not, Michelle, could you read Mira, please?
Sure. Okay. What was that?
Guess it was a meteor, honey. Came awfully close, didn't it?
Too close for my money. Much too close.
The camera moves slowly across the various porches to people who stand there watching and talking in low, conversing tones. Maple Street, 6:44 p.m. on a late September evening. Maple Street in the last calm and reflective moment before the monsters came. The camera takes us across the porches again. A man is replacing a light bulb on a front porch. He gets off his stool to flick the switch and finds that nothing happens. Another man is working on an electric power motor. He plugs in the plug, flicks the switch of the motor off and on, but nothing happens. Through a window, we see a woman pushing her finger up and down on the dial hook of a telephone. Her voice sounds far away.
Operator, something's wrong on the phone. Operator. Myra Brand comes out of the porch and calls to Steve.
Steve, the power off. I had the soup on the stove and the stove just stopped working.
Same thing over here. I can't get anybody on the phone either. The phone seems to be dead.
We look down again on the street. Small, mildly disturbed voices are heard coming from below. Deborah, could you be voice one?
Electricity's off.
Or just read all the voices.
Phone won't work. Can't get a thing on the radio. My power mower won't move, won't work at all. Radio's gone dead.
Pete Van Horn, a tall, thin man, is seen standing in front of his house.
I'll cut through the backyard to see if the power's still on Floral Street. I'll be right back.
He walks past the side of his house and disappears into the backyard. The camera pans down slowly until we are looking at 10 or 11 people standing around the street and overflowing to the curb and sidewalk. In the background is Steve Brand's car.
Doesn't make sense. Why would the power go off all of a sudden? And the power line. And the phone line.
Maybe some kind of electrician storm or something.
That don't seem likely. Sky's just as blue as anything. Not a cloud, no lightning, no thunder, no nothing. How can it be a storm?
I can't get a thing on the radio, not even the portable.
The people again began to murmur softly in wonderment.
Well, why don't you go downtown and check with the police? Though they'll probably think we're crazy or something. A little power failure, and right away we got all flustered and everything.
It isn't just a power failure, Charlie. If it was, we'd still be able to get a broadcast on the portable.
There is a murmur of reaction to this. Steve looks from face to face and then at his car.
I'll run downtown. We'll get this all straightened out.
He gets in the car and turns the key. Looking through the open car door, we see the crowd watching Steve from the other side. He starts the engine. It turns over sluggishly and then stops dead. He tries it again, and this time he can't get it to turn over. Then very slowly, he turns the key back to off and gets out of the car. The people stare at Steve. He stands for a moment by the car and then walks towards them.
I don't understand it. It was working perfectly fine before.
Out of gas?
I just
Oh
had
wait,
it.
sorry, I have a question. Am
Yeah.
I still playing Dawn? Because my Wi-Fi was acting weird before, so I missed some of my lines.
Oh, sure. Who was playing Dawn before? Like who was saying Dawn right now?
Me.
Okay, then Sophie, do you want to play the italicized lines, like the narrator instead?
Okay.
Okay, perfect. Where were we?
Out of gas.
Okay, let's just start from Steve then.
I just had it filmed.
What's it mean?
It's just as if everything had stopped. We better walk downtown.
Another murmur of assent to this.
The two of us can go, Charlie.
He
It
turns
should-
to look back at the car.
It couldn't be the meteor. A meteor couldn't do this.
He and Charlie exchange a look, then they start to walk off away from the group. Tommy comes into view. He is a serious-faced young boy in spectacles. He stands halfway between the group and the two men who start to walk down the sidewalk.
Mr. Brand, you better not.
Why not?
They don't want you to.
Steve and Charlie exchange a grin, and Steve looks back towards the boy.
Who doesn't want us to?
Them.
Them?
Who are them?
Whoever was in that thing that came by overhead.
Steve knits his brows for a moment, cocking his head questioningly. His voice is intense.
What?
Whoever was in that thing that came over, I don't think they want us to leave here.
Steve,
Sophie, are you good?
okay, yeah, my Wi-Fi glitched out a bit.
Oh, it's okay.
Steve leaves Charlie, walks over to the boy, and puts his hand on the boy's shoulder. He forces his voice to remain gentle.
What do you mean? What are you talking about?
They don't want us to leave. That's why they shut everything off.
What makes you say that? Whatever gave you the idea?
From the crowd. Now, isn't that the craziest thing you've ever heard?
It's always that way in every story I ever read about a ship landing from outer space.
To the boy's mother, Sally, who stands on the fringe of the crowd. From outer space yet. Sally, you better get that boy of yours up to bed. He's been reading too many comic books or seeing too many movies or something.
Tommy, come over and stop that kind of talk.
Go ahead, Tommy. We'll be right back, and you'll see. That wasn't any ship or anything like that. That was just a meteor or something. Likely as not. He turns
to the group, now trying very hard to sound more optimistic than he feels.
No doubt, it did have something to do with all this power failure and the rest of it. Meteors can do some crazy things, like sunspots.
Picking up on the cue.
Sure, that's the kind of thing, like sunspots. They raise Cain with radio reception all over the world, and this thing being so close. Why, there's no telling the sort of stuff it can do.
Oh, he wets his lips and smiles nervously.
Go ahead, Charlie. You and Steve go into town and see if that isn't what's causing it all.
Steve and Charlie walk away from the group down the sidewalk as the people watch silently. Tommy stares at them, biting his lips, and finally calls out again.
Mr. Brand,
The two men stop. Tommy takes a step toward them.
Mr. Brand, please don't leave here.
Steve and Charlie stop once again and turn towards the boy. In the crowd, there is a murmur of irritation and concern. Out of the boy's words, even though they didn't make sense, were bringing up fears that shouldn't be brought up. Tommy is both frightened and defiant.
You might not even be able to get to town. It was that way in the story. Nobody could leave. Nobody except
who?
except the people they sent down ahead of them. They didn't look like humans. They looked just like humans. And it wasn't until the ship landed that
The boy suddenly stops, conscious of the people staring at him and his mother and of the sudden hush of the crowd. In a whisper, something the antagonism of the crowd.
Tommy, please, son. Honey, don't talk that way.
Who was our man one? What about Amelia, do you want to read man one?
Yeah, that works. That kid shouldn't talk that way, and we shouldn't stand here listening to him. Why, this is the craziest thing I've ever heard of. The kid tells us a comic book plot, and here we stand listening.
Steve walks towards the camera and stops beside the boy.
Go ahead, Tommy. What kind of story was this? What about the people they sent out ahead?
that was the way they prepared things for the landing. They sent 4 people, a mother and a father and 2 kids who looked just like humans, but they weren't.
There is a that Steve looks towards the crowd and then toward Tommy. He wears a tight grin.
Well, I guess what we'd better do then is to run a check on the neighborhood and see which one of us are really human.
There's laughter at this, but the laughter that comes from a desperate attempt to lighten the atmosphere. The people look at one another in the middle of their laughter. Charlie rubs his jaw nervously.
I wonder if Floral Street's got the same deal as we got. Where's Pete Van Horn anyway? Isn't he back yet?
Suddenly there's the sound of a car's engine starting to turn over. We look across the street toward the driveway of Lay's house. He's at the wheel trying to start the car.
Can you get started, Les?
Lay Goodman gets out of the car, shaking his head.
And do we have a Les? Does anybody want to volunteer to read him? Okay, Eugene, go ahead.
No dice.
He walks toward the group. He stops suddenly as behind him the car engine starts up all by itself. Lay whirls around to stare at the car. The car idles roughly, smoke coming from the exhaust, the frame shaking gently. Lay's eyes go wide and he runs over to his car. The people stare at the car.
He got the car started somehow. He got his car started.
The people continues to stare, caught up by this revelation, and wildly frightened.
How come his car just up and started like that?
Don Martin approaches the group and stops a few feet away to look towards Lay's car.
And he never did come out to look at that thing that flew overhead. He wasn't even interested.
He turns to the group, his face taut and serious.
Why? Why did he not come out with the rest of us to look?
He always was an oddball, him and his whole family, a real oddball.
The group starts towards the house. In this brief fraction of a moment, it takes the first step toward changing from a group into a mob. The group members begin to head purposefully across the street toward the house. Steve stands in front of them. For a moment, their fear almost turns their walk into a wild stampede. But Steve's voice, decisive and commanding, makes them stop.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let's not be a mob.
The people stop, pause for a moment, and then, much more quietly and slowly, start to walk across the street. Lei stands alone facing the.
I just don't understand it. I tried to start it and it wouldn't start. You saw me. All of you saw me.
Sophie, if your Wi-Fi is lagging again, I can take over for this part. And now, just as suddenly as the engine started, it stops, and there is a long silence that is gradually intruded upon by the frightened murmuring of the people.
I don't understand. I swear, I don't understand. What's happening?
Maybe you better tell us nothing's working on the street. Nothing. No lights, no power, no radio.
Oh, then meaningfully,
Nothing except one car, yours.
the people's murmuring becomes a loud chant filling the air with accusations and demands for action. Two of the men pass Don and head towards Les, who backs away from them against his car. He is cornered.
Wait a minute now. Keep your distance, all of you. So I've got a car that starts by itself. Well, that's a freak thing. I admit it. But does that make me a criminal or something? I don't know why the car works. It just does.
This stops
This
the crowd
stops the
momentarily.
crowd.
Go on.
Oh yeah, sorry, my Wi-Fi was
It's okay.
acting up a bit too again. This stops the crowd momentarily, and Lei, still backing away, goes toward his front porch. He goes up the steps and then stops, facing the mob.
What's it all about, Steve?
Quietly,
We're all on a monster kick, Les. Seems that the general impression holds that maybe one family isn't what they think they are. Monsters from outer space or something, different from us. Aliens from the vast beyond.
he chuckles.
You know anybody that might fit that description about here on Maple Street?
He
What is
looks around
this?
the group again.
What is this? A gag? Is this a practical joke or something?
Suddenly, the car engine starts all by itself, runs for and stops. One woman begins to cry. The eyes of the crowd are cold and accusing.
Now that's supposed to incriminate me, huh? The car engine goes on and off, and that really does it, doesn't it? He looks
He looks
around.
around at the faces of the people.
I just don't understand it any more than any of you do.
He wets his lips, looking from face to face.
Look, you all know me. We've lived here for 5 years, right in this house. We're no different from any of the rest of you. We're no different at all. Really, this whole thing is just weird. Well, in that case, Les Guzman, explain why.
She stops suddenly, clamping her mouth shut. Softly,
Explain what?
interjecting,
Look, let's forget this.
overlapping him.
Go ahead, let her talk. What about it? Explain what?
A little reluctantly.
Well, sometimes I go to bed late at night. A couple of times I'd come out here on the porch and I'd see Mr. Goodman here in the wee hours of the morning, standing out in the front of his house, looking up at the sky.
He looks around the circle of faces.
That's right, looking up at the sky as if he were waiting for something.
Pauses.
As if she were looking for something.
There's a murmur of reaction from the crowd again as Lei backs away.
She's crazy. Look, I can explain that. Please, I can really explain that. She's making it up anyway.
Then he shouts.
I can tell you she's making it up.
He takes a step toward the crowd and they back away from him. He He walks down the steps after them, and they continue to back away. Suddenly, he is left completely alone, and he looks like a man caught in the middle of a menacing circle as the scene slowly fades to black.
Okay, perfect. Thank you to all the readers for this moment. Now let's go to the discussion points. So hopefully it was more fun since we decided to change it up a little and go with like a play. Okay, here's a refresher just in case you weren't here in the beginning or you just kind of got lost. So basically, a sudden flash of light and a mysterious power outage disrupts daily life on Maple Street, leaving the neighbors uneasy and confused. Then suspicion starts to grow when Tommy, a young boy, suggests that aliens might live among them. Then Les Goodman's car starts on its own, which causes the people to turn against him out of fear. So here's our discussion points. The first question is, why is Tommy's story about aliens so quickly believed by the adults? Why do you think the neighbors turn on each other so fast? Oh, yeah, go ahead, Hank.
Because they're afraid, and when they're afraid, they believe strange things that other people might say to give an answer to what strange things they're dealing with.
Yeah, perfect. What about you, Hannah?
I was going to say generally the same thing. People want something to believe, so that yeah, they're afraid. So they just want something to believe.
So like they just make something up so they have something to put the blame on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, what about you, Brian?
I think because the car was like starting by itself and yeah.
Yeah, right. So that's also like a fear portion, right? Okay, what about you, Sammy?
I think that they believed about his story because the power outage, like it's kind of similar to the others. The power outage spread so much fear that that when he told the story, they believed it because they were too scared to think of anything else. And what's the problem with this claim?
Yeah, so I feel like the general like answer that we're getting from all of you is that they just needed like a scapegoat to put all the blame on, right? Okay, let's move on to the next question. Okay, what do you think Tommy represents? Like, do you think he's a symbol for innocence or something else? And what do you think the flash in the beginning represents? Yeah, go ahead, Hank.
I think Tommy represents like a main side character, and like I think the Flash in the beginning represents like the power, like what goes on after, if you like, I forgot.
It's okay. What about you, Hannah?
He might represent like people's, like general people's fear or their belief that something else must be the cause and not them, or like not what they think is normal.
Yeah. What about you, Amelia?
I'll just answer the second part of the question about the Flash. I think the Flash represents like the Flash just sends like the neighbors and the people into like a state of fear. So this is what triggers like their fear and trying to blame things on another person.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, Mia?
Is it okay if I only answer the first part of the question?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So I think Tommy represents someone that's like gullible and can like make up scenarios, so he can just he has a creative imagination.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is that Tommy's basically the one that came up with it all, right? And he's like the innocent one that ended up being the start of everything. Um, let's move on to the third question. Okay, so what do you think the author is trying to say about where real monsters come from? Um, yeah, Hank.
I feel like the author is saying the real monsters are like us in our imaginations after like we see something weird that's not believable.
Yeah, and do you agree with this?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Olivia.
I definitely agree with Hank on that part, and I also want to say, like, people start believing false information, and this false information, they can use it to turn on other people to blame it.
Yeah, so misinformation, right? Amelia?
So I believe like what the author is talking about real monsters, it's going towards the fact that when in fear, a lot of people can't work together. Instead, they try to blame it on each other. And this causes a lot of disunity and it causes problems to not be able to be solved and just a lot of conflict in general.
Yeah, perfect. We can definitely see that with this piece, right? What about you, Hannah?
I think they might be trying to say like monsters can come from like just like stories and like the things that people say to you that you choose to believe in any way or like interpret in any way.
Yeah, right? Okay, so I feel like what we're saying is that the monsters are basically misinformation that's being spread, and that the real monsters are not the aliens that the neighbors are talking about, but the neighbors themselves. Okay, before we run out of time, let's go to community service ideas. So basically, if you guys are new here, what we do is we first read and then we respond by doing community service within our neighborhoods. So because it's Halloween, we decided to do a bit of a spooky theme. So what I came up with is organizing a get together with your neighbors to strengthen like your relationships and also going trick or treating with your neighbors for Halloween. But does anyone else have other ideas? Yeah, Hank.
We can like maybe like help like your neighbors to like not find any like don't get any like excuses, you know?
Oh yeah, like stopping misinformation with the neighbors, in between the neighbors. Does anyone else have other ideas? It can be fun ones too, like something Halloween related.
Could I say something?
Yeah, of course.
So basically last year, I believe one of my neighbors, they held like an event where you like spun a wheel and then whatever the wheel said, you got a prize for it, and it was just like
Hmm.
a fun activity, so maybe we could do that.
Okay, yeah, spinning a wheel for prizes. Yeah,
Yeah.
for prizes. Yeah, okay. Does anybody else have anything? It can just be like what Michelle said, like trunk or treating. Have you guys ever done that? Or like making costumes with your friends? It can be something simple like that.
You can like give each other like exchanging costumes.
Oh yeah, that's fun. Okay.
I think organizing a trunk or treat, especially for like younger members of the neighborhood, is good.
That's great. Perfect. I think that's more than enough. Thank you to everyone who gave some ideas. Okay. And here's our feedback form. So you can either type this out. We give you all of our slides, so you can always click on the link, or you can just scan our QR code. This is just for feedback. Oh wait, there should be an attendance form too. Wait, no, there's not. Okay. Um, since we have a couple minutes left, I thought it would be fun to go back to the piece and look at some of the vocabulary words since there was a lot in there. So let's go back. And I thought a fun activity we could do is take a vocab word within the piece and just try to create a sentence with it. Yeah, Hank.
What do you mean by vocab word?
So if you go back to the PDF, there should be words that are bolded and underlined. So for example, on page 140 or page 4 of the PDF, it says another murmur of assent to this. And assent is bolded and underlined, and it's saying that assent means to like it's like agreeing with each other. So then my own sentence could be like, I assented to taking a retake on Monday. Or optimistic. Can anybody make a sentence with the word optimistic? Oh, go on, Hannah.
I was optimistic about going trick-or-treating on Halloween.
Yeah, that's great. Let's go another word. Antagonism. Yeah, go on, Hank.
I saw a lot of antagonism in a fight.
Yeah. Okay. There's a fun one. It's raise Cain, and that means to like cause trouble. Can anyone make that into a sentence? Yeah, Eugene.
I like to raise Cain in our neighborhood.
Yeah, there you go. Let's see if there's any more. Oh, revelation. Yeah, Hank, go on.
I had a revelation.
Yeah, okay, that's great. Okay, so we might have to end a little bit early since my time is running out on here. But if you have any questions, please feel free to stay over and talk with me. And our next meeting will be held on November 22nd. So please watch out for any emails we send and our new piece for the next month. So if you have any questions, just feel free to ask.
Yeah, so I'm a little bit curious because my father, he was like, before I joined this meeting, he was like, oh, there's another meeting after this one, like about how we should like start clubs in our own school. So is that happening or not?
Yeah, that is great question. So basically, like you're saying, we're offering students to open up their own clubs in the neighborhood. So we have our chapter meeting at 7 p.m. And I think we sent out the email to you. Did you receive it?
I do not think I did.
Okay, well, let me just type out the meeting code for you here. Let me find it.
All right.
Okay, the ID is okay. This is the information. For anyone else who's interested, please feel free to join and we'll try to get you signed up so you receive the email as well. But thank you to everyone else who came to the meeting. If you have no further questions, feel free to leave. Okay, thank you so much.